Hey everybody, we're back for our third matchup of the night between Parallax and Distortion in the Rival League. And just before we get started here, let's give a quick shout out to our very own Mr. Chipmunk with the resub, and for Sunex as well, also with the resub. Thank you very much, those two. And I'm joined by the regional dictator himself, who just casted a hell of a last series a moment ago. It's Rocker Man.
What's going on, Bagels? That was a crazy series. That last one. I'm hoping this one here lives up to that same height, because if it does, wow, we could be in for another good one.
You know, I don't think there's going to be much toxicity between these two teams, so I think that series was already going to be good, and then that just brought a whole nother element into the fray. So there was a lot on the line for those Origin and Faded players, as it's still going off in the Discord at the moment.
Yeah, it was a little bit intense in that one, but hey, it all worked out. Origin, they pulled it off, and I mean, what a series that was. And this one should be a good one here as well.
Yeah, now Rockerman Org 2-0 on the day. It's going to be up to my team for the final match tonight to try and get the 3-0. But yeah, anyways, back to this match. Um, I believe it was Distortion that came out of the 3-4 seed losing, right?
Yeah. Origin was the fifth seed, and then Faded. They were the third seed, and they had to drop down. So,
Oh, I meant
yeah.
for Rival League.
Oh, for Rival League, I think you said Origin. Maybe
Oh,
maybe I'm hearing wrong.
I said Distortion, but
Okay, maybe I'm hearing things. I'm trying to deal with this issue in chat as well. Distortion, they have to go find a third player on their roster. They were about to play with a Challenger League sub, so I had to shut that down real quick. We had a series that happened earlier, so I had to make sure that was shut down. But yeah, Distortion, they were the fifth seed coming in this one. They're almost exactly in the same position as Origin was. We just saw in the last series. Distortion, they pulled off the 4-2 victory over the Kings, and now they're taking down Parallax, who they dropped down from the upper bracket. They played Blaze. They got 4-0. 4-0'd in that one, so they got swept. Couldn't even pull off a game. I was expecting big things from Parallax. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull it off there. So now we're coming into this one. I'm gonna be curious to see, if Distortion. I mean, we've seen it a lot in this playoffs. The team from that lower bracket who's already won a playoff matchup, they usually have pretty good momentum coming in this one. So I want to see. My big thing is, can Parallax pull something off here, and can they get on it right away and kind of put it to Distortion? And it's almost to the point where it could be an upset. When they have to drop down like that.
yeah, and notoriously, since we're using the same RLCS format for playoffs that they used for a few seasons, the loser of that 3-4 seed matchup has almost always lost coming down to the winner of the 5-6 matchup. And in somewhat convincing fashion, usually in a 4-1 or 4-0 fashion. Now, granted, the Origin Faded series went all the way to Game 7, which was a little bit of a change up there, but notoriously, the loser of that 3-4 matchup has almost always lost. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup between Parallax and Distortion here.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I want to see, like I said, I want to see if Parallax can come out and kind of prove that little bit of that stereotype wrong, because they've had a great season here. I believe they ended up 12-6 at the end of the season. They pulled off an upset against the Knights on the very last night in Saturday Night Rocket League, and I was really expecting big things out from Parallax here, and I want to see if they can drop down here, prove everybody wrong, and come out here with this, with the first punch, throw that first punch, get on top of Distortion early, and I think that's really how you're gonna pull almost the upset here, even though they have the higher seed.
Yeah, and for Parallax anyway, like you mentioned, that Knights victory. Now, Knights was kind of memeing around with the cars a little bit in that last matchup, as that particular match didn't really matter for him. The seeding was kind of already set in place. But either way, Parallax was able to pull off a Game 5 win against Knights, and to get convincingly 4-0 swept by Blaze, that doesn't really bode well for them in this Distortion matchup. As you mentioned, Distortion coming off a victory in a 4-2 fashion against the Kings, who looked pretty hot throughout the season. And honestly, Distortion and Kings, they were both kind of the middle of the pack teams, which is why they were at that 5-6 matchup. But I think Distortion has a chance here to beat Parallax. And if you mentioned that Parallax doesn't come off hot out of the gate, I think this could be an easy victory for Distortion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would have to. I would have to agree with you there. I mean, we'll have to see. I would love to see Parallax come out of the gates, like I said, and well, I mean, we're gonna have to find out here. But yeah, Distortion. They looked good, but I mean, something to note here is that they didn't have. They're not going to have Sicky at least at the beginning of this game. They were just talking about it in the chat. They were about to use. They were about to use Wosnake, who's a Challenger League player, and now coming to this one, they're gonna. It looks like they're gonna be pulling up Teskimo to try to play in this one. And I'm gonna be curious to see how that's gonna work because Teskimo, he hasn't really been playing recently. It's been Sicky, Punch, and Vokes who have been the main guys. So I want to see if Teskimo can come in here and step up and perform like he needs to in order to win a playoff game.
Yeah, and I believe it was one of the first matches I ever casted in the season where Teskimo was on the squad for Distortion at the time, and I think they swept Kings in an early matchup early on in the beginning of the season. And if he played that well against the Kings early on, I think, regardless of whether Teskimo has been playing lately or not, I think he still could be competitive in this matchup against Parallax.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll have to see. We're still waiting on him to get up here. The word on the street is 1 to 2 minutes for that, but yeah, we're gonna have to see this one. Taking a look at the bracket right here. I know we don't have it up on stream necessarily, but looking at this one, we have Distortion versus Parallax. Parallax, the 4 seed, dropping down in this lower quarterfinal, and Distortion, the 5th seed, coming out of that lower round 1. So the winner of this one gets a matchup against the Knights here, Bagels. And with the way the Knights have played the whole season, 16-2, and he talked about it. Maybe they were messing around a little bit in that last game, but it also could be a little bit of a concern. You never know. You always want to kind of have the momentum going to the playoffs, and you don't want to peak too early. It's something we saw with the Dragons from Rival League Season 1 is that they peaked so early, they had so much momentum, throughout the regular season, and it just didn't carry over to the playoffs.
Yeah, and you mentioned that 1 seed in the Knights, and honestly, the 1 seeds in every single league are dangerous. I mean, in Prospect you have the Melons, in Challenger you have the Drakes, in Rival you have the Knights. And honestly, for Titan, there isn't really. I mean, Grandmasters, they had a dominant league play, but anybody in Titan League could take it. But as far as the other 3 leagues are concerned, I think you have to really watch out for these 1 seeds, as the 2 seeds could be beatable. We see Hydra in the Rival League at a decent record, but that Blaze could easily take that matchup. But whoever comes out of this matchup right here for Knights, upsets are always a potential, but man, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy with how all these teams have played. But you never know. Besides the Titan League, all these other games are going to be single elimination, best of 7. So you never know who's going to show up on that day. And I'll be curious to see if with these semifinal twos, all the 1 seeds playing semifinal 2. I'm gonna be curious to see if those teams, all the teams are gonna be set already. Origin, they're playing Melons. Ascension, they're playing Drakes. And I'm gonna be curious to see Bagels if they have a game plan going into that one. Maybe they have a little bit more time to scout to go say, hey, how can we beat the Knights who are 16-2? What do they do in their loss against Blaze? What do they do in their loss against Parallax? I'll be curious to see how much scouting could come into play going forward for these teams that are trying to take down the 1 seeds.
I think it depends on how competitive the players are trying to be, but uh, I definitely can assure you that the rivalry between Skies on Ascension and Biscuit on Drakes is evident in the Challenger League. I know Skies really wants to beat them. Not so sure about the relations between these players in Rival League, but I mean, it's not even necessarily about the money at the end of the day. The money's nice, but I think it's more about pride and having that competitive nature. I mean, you just want to win when you're these guys, and if you can win against the 1 seed, that'll give you really good confidence going into those grand finals.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely agree with that. I've heard a lot about pride throughout the season. You guys are fighting Just something that Skies from Ascension just talked about and brought up yesterday is that, you've been fighting the whole season for 3 months. It's a lot of pride on the line. You want to beat these guys. You play against all these other teams. You've been playing with your guys the entire season, and for it to come down to this, you want your best team on the field, and you wanna go after these teams, and you want to win too. Just if not for the money, then for the pride there. So we'll definitely have to see Parallax or Distortion here in this matchup. They could have a good potential to take down the Knights. I mean, you never know with the scouting, and we saw Parallax take them down. Albeit we talked about, albeit the Knights were they're messing around a little bit, but that's something that you could think about though. For if Parallax is to advance, if you lose to if you're the Knights and you lose to a team like Parallax, that could kind of get in your head, and especially with these teams kind of having playoff games under their belts, Bagels, and Knights, it'll be their first playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it from Biscuit. He said, "Man, kind of sitting around here for a little bit." He's a little. I mean, he says he's a little worried, but I doubt he is. I think regardless, the number 1 seeds are going to be coming in confident, as the teams aren't going to be the strongest coming in from this matchup, as that's the benefit of being the 1 seed. But upset's always a potential, and like you mentioned, looking at Parallax, when they're getting 4-0 swept by Blaze from the 3-4 seed match and coming down here to fight Distortion, if they want to have any chance against Knights, they better show up here, because if they got taken out by Blaze, they'll probably get taken out by Knights, and at this point, it'll be up to Distortion to give Knights a competitive matchup in that first semifinal.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see who's going to pull it out here. Teskimo, he's still struggling out here. He was running to his dorm. He had to run back. What a legend here, coming up clutch for his team. He had to run back, and apparently he's loading it up now on a laptop. So he's struggling here, but Parallax allowed him a little bit more time. They want to get it to him, or they want to get this thing started before 30. Otherwise, they're gonna probably take the forfeit here. So we've got a couple more minutes to burn here. But maybe we can talk a little bit about the first semifinal on the upper half here with Hydra. They're taking on Blaze here, and we just saw Blaze coming off an impressive 4-0 win, and now they have to take on that Hydra team with your man, the Hut. The Hut's there. So what are you expecting in that one, Bagels?
This is a problem, because apparently the Hut isn't going to be able to play in this matchup.
Oh no.
He says he's going camping. I think I said it on the last stream. I'm praying for some sort of inclement weather to cancel this camping trip, because I want to see the Hut on the field. I don't think it's the same roster for Hydra without the Hut. I know that the Hut said that he feels confident in his team, but I mean, the way Blaze just cakewalked over Parallax in that first playoff match, I mean, and given their league play record, I'd be pretty worried. I know that the Hut will be available for grand finals, just not that one match, but they only have one life, as they did get that advantage of only having to play 2 matches. But could be interesting for them.
Yeah, I would say it's gonna be an interesting one. You want to see the Hut on the field. He's been such a meme and such a nice guy. I think that's why he's become a little bit of a meme, because he's such a nice guy. Gotta love Benji, the Hut there. Hopefully, like you said, hopefully we don't like canceling trips, but if there was a time for some tough weather, to cancel a trip, it would be that one. But it looks like Teskimo is here, so finally we can get things started. I think Bagels. I think what they were doing, they were giving us time, because the next matchup is at 11, so they gave us a little bit of time.
Hey, you know what? That's actually bad for me, because I did have a scrim scheduled. But hey, you know what? For the viewers' sake, the wait in between matches, I can respect that.
It's the content.
Content, all caps, is a must. So, as a big whiff coming out right there, and that's going to lead to the first goal.
Wow, and Distortion, they're starting out early. I was talking about if Teskimo can get a fast start, but Hunch, he's going to get a fast start here. And, we're going to have to see as this game goes on how Hunch and Vokes can kind of carry the load, because they've been the main two without Siki around here. They're going to have to step up and be that first guy.
Teskimo on that dorm laptop right now. I can see the red ping coming into play, but Hey, he makes a great save right there to send it to his own corner. Now off the sidewall now. Missing out on the midfield though, but Vokes is going to get a good 50 from Smexy. Punch clearing it out to the side. JB's going to miss, apparently with a broken hand. Maybe that could have had something to do with the miss there, but regardless, Zap on the air dribble now, going up for the double tap. Great shot off the crossbar. A big miss coming out from defense is going to leave the net open, and Smexy's going to put it away.
Oh my goodness, Zap almost hit this shot. I thought he was going to pull off the highlight there. Couldn't quite, and Hunch can't find that touch. And Teskimo, he's trying to read that one, but that's what we're talking about. He had to come in completely cold. I'm sure he had no warm-up at all. He had to run back over here on dorm Wi-Fi. So, this could be a rough game for Teskimo, trying to figure out his way into this offense, also being the sub as well.
Another shot here, but blocked away from Teskimo. That's 2 clutch saves he's been able to come up with. Another dangerous ball here, but nobody there for the follow-up, but the players are panicking anyway. Another good save from Teskimo. Already sitting at 2 in the last one. He didn't even get credit for it. But anyways, back to that goal for Parallax. That was such a great double coming in from Zap that almost led to the goal right away. And then the 2 players on both teams faked each other out, which is what led to that shot going in. There was just so much awkwardness on the defense for them. As another whiff coming out here, Teskimo on the ball, off the crossbar, but not able to put it in. And, Teskimo, laptop rushing back to his dorm or not, he's looking good right now. As Zap takes it across the whole field, he's able to put it in for the second goal.
Oh my goodness, you might be witnessing playoff Zap here, as this man was a Season 1 champion with the Knights, or excuse me, not the Knights, the Samurai, back in Season 1 in the Challenger League. And, the Samurai, they came out of nowhere in Season 1. They were kind of a sleeper team. It was all the Drakes and the Bishops in Season 1, but the Samurai came out, and Zap, he was a crucial part of that Season 1 storyline for them. And, it's good to see him back on a roster. He didn't get on their roster until late, but with him making those highlight reel plays, this is the Parallax I was expecting to see in their first matchup.
Yeah, they look way more hot out of the gates here, but that's exactly what happened in the first 2 minutes of that Blaze series. They looked so good in that first 2 minutes, and then they were just absent the rest of the 4-game series, eventually getting swept. But as far as this matchup's concerned, Zap kind of carrying them on the offense, almost getting 2 highlight reel goals. But now Distortion down by 1 with about halftime left, but another one's going to sink in, and Zap, he's just all over the field.
Another great shot from him. You said it exactly right. He's all over the field. He's on top of every ball first. Distortion a little bit discombobulated there in the net, running into each other, and they're unable to connect on that. So Parallax, a 3-1 lead, all led by Zap. He's got 2 goals and an assist, so he's definitely been all over it for their team.
Yeah, now the defense kind of a miss for Distortion here after that opening goal from them. Just a lot of awkwardness coming out, but that's mainly been due to the pressure coming out from Parallax, as they've really been turning on these past few minutes. Zap on the ball again. Every time he's on the ball, he's dangerous. Pass to the middle, and it's going to go in again. Nobody can stop this man.
He's just going off. Have a field day here, Zap, in this game number 1. Just going to send it right in the midfield. A little bit of a mistouch there. Hunch tried to get to it. Smexy gonna send it right in, but he's just been right on top of it. Exactly what you want to see. And this is what I talked about Parallax. Coming down from that upper bracket to the lowers here, you have to have a quick start if you're going to want to make a name for yourselves and kind of show Distortion, hey, we can hang with you. We may got swept, but we can still play. So that's great to see from Parallax and Zap there.
Yeah, and they certainly have come out hot here, and coming up with 4 goals in Zap. He even got bumped off that ball, but was still able to get the pass in the middle. He may have even gotten another double attempt, but the bump came out, but unfortunately the hit did not for Distortion. And now down by 3 goals with just over a minute and a half. And the way Zap and company are playing at the moment, I think this game 1's sealed for them at the moment.
Yeah, Distortion, they're going to have to try to break out. I think they can do it. We saw it in that first goal, but they're going to have to fix it out and find some sort of clear, because Zap's just been doing everything he wants as he takes another one there. Teskimo just clutch enough to make the save, but they're going to have to turn it into offense here, all these saves that they've been able to make.
Yeah, Distortion have been stuck on their half for a good majority of time. They've been sitting at 5 shots for such a long period of time, stuck on defense this whole opportunity for Parallax, and man, they just can't break out of their half at the moment.
They just need to find this clear every time, and they're finally able to get one out. Maybe they can turn it into offense here, but they're going to have to sustain it. And you see, there's nobody there. There's nobody there to attack the ball. They're so patient on this one. They need to be aggressive here. You know, down in the last 45 seconds, you have to be pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they get and that they're gonna Hunch somehow passing it to the middle and still getting the save. I was gonna say, at this point, a 5th goal doesn't matter. They need to be more aggressive, like you were mentioning, but. Now with 30 seconds left, it's all but over as Parallax has just locked down Distortion on their whole half. And my friend coming out in chat, an old quote between the two of us, as an own goal comes out from Teskimo, he said, "Somebody stop this man." And as far as this game 1 is concerned, nobody can stop Zap sitting at 8 shots. Unfortunate own goal right there, but this one's done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to stop that man. Zap, he's been on top of everything. He's going to get the assist on that one. Teskimo saying he can't even right now, which is tough because he wasn't even expecting to play in this one. As JB gets another one, you know, for him to come in and try to fill in. I mean, he's on top of the board. I was going to say, you know, as this one just going to slide that one in, a nice goal for JB, but. I was going to say, I mean, Hunch and Vokes, they've been starters this entire season for the most part for this Distortion squad. I mean, Teskimo and Siki have rotated around. They've tried out different rosters. But, you know, without Siki here at that number 1, you have to find a way here for these two. As they're just going to put another one in Brazil. But Vokes and Hunch, they need to step up here. They need to get onto that offense. Someone needs to take over that number 1 spot, whoever it is. If it's Hunch, if it's Vokes, someone needs to take that one spot that Siki was in and, you know, get on that offense. Because, I mean, Teskimo, he can survive as a third man here. I know that's normally what he plays. He can survive as a third man. But Vokes and Hunch, they have to turn on the offense here in this one as Parallax pull out the Brazil.
Yeah, very dominating performance coming out for Parallax. And like you mentioned, coming out of the 3-4 matchup with a loss, I mean, they needed to come out hot, and no better way than to pull out the Brazil for the game 1 of this series. And you mentioned Teskimo, and besides that own goal, which was a very questionable own goal, I'm not sure why he even bothered to go for that ball. I feel like he was actually playing pretty solid in this game 1, and I just don't know where it all went wrong. I mean, Parallax, they had a lot of pressure, and Zap coming out with lots of solo plays, and he has 4 assists. And a lot of times those mechanical players, they get a lot of assists because they're able to dump it out to the middle off the backboard. That's exactly what he did for this game 1, but Distortion, they just need to find some way to make these touches on defense or shut down Zap, because if somebody does not stop this man, it's going to be another fill for the rest of this series.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They have to stop him. And, you know, you talked about Teskimo coming in on this one. I was watching the scoreboard, trying to look at his ping, and I've known the struggles of dorm Wi-Fi, being a college student, and, you know, sometimes the Wi-Fi, it's not consistent. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed, and that's kind of what I've seen from Teskimo there is, you know, it looks like he's solid ping. You know, he's chilling at 40 ping, which is not bad, but it'll just spike up, and that is the worst type of ping. If it was consistently at, you know, 130, 180, you know, he'd have a better chance. But when you can't trust your ping, when you can't be confident that, okay, you know, the ping's going to be solid or it's not going to be solid, as folks put that one, if you're not confident in your ping, you can't play to your potential.
Yeah, I definitely know that, life lagging all of Season 1, but now Distortion coming out of the gates hot again. They scored the first goal for Game 1, and now in this, the opening moments of this Game 2, and normally you're the one to bring it up. Usually the team that scores first, more often than not, ends up winning the match, but that was not the case for Game 1, as they gave up 7 uncontested goals after that opening goal, but maybe they'll be able to turn it around in this Game 2.
Yeah, I always say that for Game 7. I'm just going to put that one in. Whoever scores first in Game 7 gets the win, but Hunch, he's not worried about Game 7 right now. He's worried about Game 2.
Yeah, it was even a double commit coming out for Distortion right there, but luckily they were able to get the soft pinch out to the middle. That way Hunch could get that great 50 goal into the top right. And now Parallax is the one that's caught on their own side in these opening 30 seconds. Is another awkward touch coming off the backboard. Vokes there, but not enough power to put it in. Teskimo on this one now, sending it off the sidewall. JB sending it to the opposite side. Vokes off the wall again, but Smexy out to the middle. Hunch there. Past one, off the backboard. Where's the follow-up? too slow coming in for Distortion, and Vokes last back, but he gets a clutch hit. Teskimo looking for the bump, but Zap was up too quick. Off the backboard again, follow up there for Hunch, and now they're up with 3-0 in less than a minute.
A great turnaround from Distortion. I mean, immediate turnaround for them. This is exactly what I was talking about. Hunch and Vokes, they're involved in every single goal so far. I mean, Hunch has 2 goals, Vokes has the 3rd, and that's what you need from Distortion. You need those 2 to step up, fill Sicky's spot, and have Teskimo stay around with his ping, and his ping doesn't matter. There he finds an absolute dunk. A 4-goal lead. I mean, this is just, I don't know where was this Distortion in the last game? I mean, what a dunk there from Teskimo off the kickoff, but I mean, 4 goals in 57 seconds. I mean, what a turnaround.
Yeah, I think this comes back to the last regular season matchup that we casted with the director's cut. The first game was the regular ending, then this game's the alternate ending, but I don't know what is going on for Parallax here. It was just an absolute breakdown of defense from them this whole time as they're finally able to break out here, and there's that man again. Zap finally able to put one on the board for his team.
Yeah, great dribble from Zap. The first really opportunity they get, first shot on the net. Zap with a high flick. Teskimo, a tough save for him, even if he wasn't lagging, which he looks fine at the moment, but a great flick from Zap, and I think they finally got on the offense. Distortion was suffocating him in that first minute there, and now that they've broken out, I expect them to get a little bit more offense.
Yeah, and 2 of those goals were a bit lucky. 2 of them were 50 goals that happened right off the kickoff, and it's hard to get yourself set, especially if you don't have boost, and it's a little bit of an awkward position right off the kickoff. And here, right off the kickoff again, Distortion have pressure. A great save coming out from Smexy, and follow-up from Hunch getting blocked out as well. Vokes turning, and now this is going to leave Teskimo last back. Kind of awkward spot, but he's able to send it out to the middle. Double commit coming out, but pass to JB, who's going to dump it right back to Distortion. Now Smexy on the opposite side, last back. Unfortunate hit off his own backboard, and that's going to be another goal. Just so many mistakes between Game 1 and Game 2.
I mean, we might be looking at a record total of shots here in this one if the pace continues. I mean, Distortion, they've already got 12. We're not even 2 minutes into the game, and they have 12 shots on net. Parallax, they've already got 7 saves. But, I mean, when a team already has 12 shots on you in the first 2 minutes, all those saves, you're not going to be able to save everything here, and they're going to have to find some offense and find a way to shut down Distortion, who seem to have come alive in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the way Parallax popped off in Game 1, anything's possible in terms of a comeback, but personally as a player, if you get down by this many goals this early, I mean, the momentum and the morale has got to be riding low, but anything's possible now. But Vokes on the pass and the dribble, getting blocked out by Smexy. Teskimo off the side now in the midfield. It's going to leave JB back, but another unfortunate hit to the middle. He's just not getting strong contacts and strong clears. And, he says broken hand. I'm not sure the legitimacy behind that, but I'd say definitely he's been the weakest player for Parallax at this point from Game 1 to Game 2. And as far as Teskimo's ping is concerned, I mean, he's looking good in this Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking solid, and I think you made a good point with JB. I mean, we need to see him step up. I mean, I know Zap is, obviously you can see he's been the carry for this team since they picked him up, but Smexy, he's also been that guy as Zap trying to put one there. But JB, he's been a solid player. I've seen him score some goals, and I've seen him pop off, but, they're going to need all 3 to contribute here if they're going to want to pull this game back and, stay in the series.
Yeah, and now as the clock kind of starting to run down, Distortion kind of just playing keep away at this point. As Zap able to get a good 50 down, that's going to go down the middle. Zap getting blocked out by Hunch, though. And Hunch beating out another Parallax player. As now Smexy going to hard clear it off his own corner. Teskimo in the mid, though, sending it back onto the blue half. Now Zap again on the ball. Dangerous on these air dribbles, but Vokes is going to shut it down. But now Vokes only with 12 boost, not able to get a quality hit out to the middle. And JB, here he is now with the shot back to the middle, almost connecting to Smexy. That would have been a great play and a great way to see JB get involved on the field. As now Distortion kind of collapsing on defense there, but didn't quite get punished for it. And now Rocker Man, it's been a completely different game besides that opening minute. I mean, you give up 4 goals that quick, and it's hard to come back because another one almost sinking in. But now, ever since those 4 goals got scored, Parallax looked dangerous.
Yeah, I was going to say Distortion, they're going to have to be careful here. In the last couple seconds, we just saw Parallax almost get back to their game one way. So Distortion, they had this game all in hand, in that first minute, and they were able to hold on for a good part of it. But they've got to be careful not to let Parallax get back on it.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Parallax, they weren't able to sink those few opportunities they had, but almost able to come out with some quality solo goals and passing plays. But now, Game 2 going to end exactly like Game 1 in dominating fashion, except now Distortion on top. And now we're going to be sitting at 1-1 apiece. And just a great own goal comes out. I think he did that one on purpose. Game's over at this point. Why not score a quality redirect?
Yeah, just going to send that one in. Yeah, it was over. I mean, Zap, he's just showing off a little bit. He's got to stay warm. He's got to stay ready for those redirects there. And Distortion, they're going to come back in this one. I mean, a 6-1 victory, despite that one there. I mean, it was a dominating game from Distortion, and it was just a mirror image, a complete turnaround in that one. And Distortion, Vokes, and Hunch, they stepped up like I talked about, which is exactly what they needed to do. And now I'm curious to see, after trading these games like that, does Distortion have the momentum, or was it a bad game from Parallax and they are going to bounce back in this one? I mean, we could be in for another long series here.
You know what? Could always use that content. We could always use more content. But I think this Game 3 is going to be really pivotal for the whole series. Now 1-1 at a piece, and I think that was just simply a case of Parallax. Just maybe they were riding too high off that Game 1 victory, and off the kickoffs, their defense was just a little amuck. And they just weren't focusing. As we saw the rest of that matchup, it was pretty close the rest of the way, even though Parallax wasn't able to get that many shots in at the end of it, only sitting at 4 to Distortion's 14. But I think Distortion or Parallax comes back hot here in this Game 3, and we might see more of a closer matchup given those two blowouts for Games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think this is where it gets close, and I would be inclined to agree that Parallax is going to bounce back here. But I think Distortion, they still have a lot of potential. I think that they're going to be coming in firing in this one as well. And if they start out early here, you gotta watch out.
Yeah, now Distortion with the opening pressure off the first kickoff. Off the backward, Hunch looking for the redirect, almost faking out Zap, but Zap didn't trust the hit. As Smexy backing up into his own net, but Vokes is going to send us to the side. Hunch on the follow-up now, off the wall, a decent amount of boost to work with, but Zap's going to shut that pass down. As Vokes messing up the dribble in front of his own net, Teskimo's going to bail it out to the side. Now working with zero boost as well. But JB, an unfortunate hit off his own side, well, it's going to lead to a shot. Double commit coming out, but Zap able to get the save. Pass dumped back out to the middle. Vokes off the corner now for the follow-up. And another double commit coming out. This is going to leave Hunch last back. Getting hard 50'd out to the middle. Where's the follow-up? Zap there. And that double commit punished them.
Yeah, that was a tough double commit. And I think Hunch, he's trying to cut it off early here, but just a bad 50 there. I think he could have taken a little bit more patience on that one. Sent it out more into the corner, at least off the backboard and rolling up. That one just straight out in the middle. Zap, he's never going to miss those ones. A wide open net for him. And now Parallax with the first goal. So they're starting out with the momentum here.
Yeah, and looking at that one again, like you mentioned, Hunch, he had so much time. In JB, he was pre-flipping onto the ball and didn't really have a shot on net and was most likely going to take it up that back wall, like you mentioned. As hold on, Zap with a great shot coming out. Hunch with the save. And Smexy almost getting the follow-up, but yeah, Hunch, he had so much more time than I think he thought he had. And that's what led to that first goal, but ultimately it was that double commit that allowed Hunch to panic and try and cut that play off even though there was no fruits. Now Smexy on the ball here in the midfield, getting a great flick out, folks. Sending that out to the side. But JB, again, that's about the 5th or 6th time where he's just needed to get a quality pass out to the middle and he hasn't been able to do it. There's another double commit coming out from Parallax here. Folks sending it high off the backboard. Where's the follow-up? There he is, but getting blocked out to the side. And now Hunch is able to tie it up.
Yeah, nice play there. Vokes able to send it down the field. But, an awkward ball there. JB, you talked about a couple mistakes here from him. Whether it be the actual broken hand, I mean, who knows? But A couple mistakes from him there, and Hunch and Vokes, that's the duo that they're going to need if Distortion's going to pull off this series, and you saw it right there.
Yeah, JB, he needs to step up like he did in that game 1. Unfortunately, his mistakes were able to be punished on in that game 2 and following into this game 3, as he's there for the challenges, he's in the right spots, but he's just making these mechanical misplays. As a great dunk coming out from Teskimo, the man himself. Everybody stopping in their tracks, just knew it was over.
Yeah, another one there. A little bit of a double commit, but I mean, Parallax, they both thought that they had the ball in the midfield, and JB, they were thinking, okay, JB's got this touch, but he did not have the touch at all. And Teskimo just too quick on that one and able to put it in. And I really don't think the internet's a problem anymore. I've been looking at it more and more, and I mean, it seems to have settled down here, and it seems like Teskimo, he's here to play, and obviously he's here to perform.
Yeah, exactly. And now this game 3 has been a much closer matchup. No blowouts in this one, although we do have 2 more minutes to decide that fate. But it has definitely looked like a closer game 3. More competitive and quality shots coming out. As Hunch on this one. Smexy kind of awkward in the backfield, as Vokes able to send it away, as he kind of got tangled up with that Distortion player.
Oh, Hunch with a great bump here. He just hunted him down, just sent Smexy off the ball. And Vokes, of course, there he is. The duo strikes again. They would have put that one in. A great play. And that's what you need. That's what you need from those two. And I mean, what a bump from Hunch there. Able to set things up in Distortion. They're still looking good in this one.
Yeah, and all 3 of these goals coming out for Distortion have kind of been on the backfield of a Parallax misplay. And again, Smexy, he tried to kind of dribble in front of his own net. His net open again. Vokes almost putting it in, but JB, there he is. Finally getting a solid touch he needs, but another follow-up on net. And again, blocked away by Zap. Teskimo's going to have to retreat back on this one, as Vokes is going to send it away. But yeah, it was just another misplay coming out from Smexy as he tried to dribble it in front of his own net. And when you dribble it in front of your own net, you lead. That's what led Hunch into the door to bump him off the ball. And if they can just play more solid on defense, this could be a complete different game 3.
Yeah, it definitely could be. They're going to have to shut these two down, as they've been all over the field right there. But a great save earlier there from JB. And, they're going to have to lock down on this defense and transition back to the offense, because they had so much offense in that first game, but it's just gone away now, and now another attack.
Yeah, so much pressure coming in from Distortion again off the backboard. They've just been pounding it. Here's another one high and lofty. But Smexy going to send it to the side, as Vokes trying to pass it back out to the middle, but faking it out. Smexy on the dribble now. Pass out to Zap, but it's going to get beaten out by Vokes in the corner. Hunch on the follow-up. Vokes is going to turn on this one. Zap cutting off the play as the net was open. And great dunk back onto the Distortion side. And now Parallax, they're going to have to find something with just over 30 seconds left, as they've been yet again shut down in this game 3, only sitting at 4 shots.
Yeah, the shot totals have struggled here in Distortion. They're looking at their same, not quite the same, but a high game 2 total is another one. Dangerous right here. It's going to go in. Zap finally going to find a goal, and they're finally able to break through.
Yeah, great 50 coming out from Smexy, and again, Hunch was last back, and he didn't have as much time on this play, but he needed to get that quality clear to the corner. And unfortunately for Distortion, he ends up dumping it out right back to the middle, and that was just an easy follow-up for Zap. No need for any mechanical plays on that one, as now Zap, he's scored almost every single goal for Parallax in this whole series.
Yeah, he has. They're going to need one more from him here in the final 10 seconds if they're going to want to force overtime.
Yeah, Vokes last back. Awkward aerial from him, as now Zap on the ball again with the air dribble. But it's going to get sent to the ground as a great clear coming from Teskimo. Smexy still there, but not able to get enough height and accuracy onto that ball to put it on net. And I think Zap just ran out of boost there. If he had a little bit more, I would have been quivering in my boots if I was Distortion.
I was really expecting Zap to do something insane. I thought he was going to take it all the way, and then for a second there, I thought he was going to get the pass off. I mean, Zap, he's just such a threat on the field in this one, and for him to carry his team, like you said, he's almost had all the goals for them. I mean, we saw only a couple from Smexy, and I don't even know if JB has scored yet, but Zap has been the guy, and they're going to need him to step up again. I mean, he stepped up as much as he could, though. in the last 2 games, but they're needing to step up again. And then Smexy and JB, they're going to have to support him because he's been playing so well in these first 3 games here. There's only so much you can do as a one player on a team. Especially in threes here, you need those other guys to back you up to help you out here. So Smexy and JB, they've got to find that step up there, and we need to see more from them going into this game 4. To where if they lose this, they're going to be put on match point and season point. They'll be done if they can't find a victory after that. But love to see as we go into game 4.
Yeah, and I think JB is that pivotal player for Parallax here, because Smexy's been solid and he's been trying to be that carry, coming out with these solo plays, these air dribbles, and getting these great 50s and passes to the middle. But sometimes it's just not enough when these Distortion players are making great plays and saves on defense, and Hunch can only make so many misplays as he did in that game 2 or game 3. And you can't rely on that every time, and I think it's up to JB here. I think he just needs to slow the game down a little bit and focus on the touches he's making. Now Teskimo in the corner, awkward spot. Hunch able to kind of bail out the pressure with a demo there. As another awkward ball again, Hunch, he needs to focus up on defense here, otherwise Parallax is going to keep exploiting that. Smexy sending it past him. Teskimo last back. Not the greatest touch. JB is going to try and send this to the middle. All 3 Parallax players in the same spot. As hold on, a great pass coming out, but Zap wasn't ready for the play from Smexy. Demo onto Vokes as Zap with the follow-up, sending the shot on, but it's way too weak as Teskimo is going to send an easy ball away, but hold on, Smexy with the follow-up off the crossbar. Couldn't read that one again off the backboard, and now Hunch sending it away. And we mentioned these shot totals for Parallax. They've been so low, and they need to be capitalizing.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see that game 1 Parallax just a little bit there with these opportunities. They've had so many in the first minute here as they're trying to get some more here. That's what they need to do. They need to get the shot totals up, and this Distortion defense, that's how they got them in the last one. Just put so much pressure that they couldn't handle it. If they could do that again, they'll be able to score a goal here and maybe tie up the series.
Yeah, Hunch in particular, he's been exploitable on defense for Distortion, and he needs to kind of focus up on defense in these corners and on the goal line if Distortion want to stay in this one, but luckily Parallax not able to capitalize on it yet. JB with the pass in the middle, Smexy now, that one's going to trickle down, but nobody there for the follow-up. Zap, but he's up with a great save coming out from Hunch. There he is. JB, he just couldn't get any power on it. Maybe his hand slipped off the controller or something. The whole net was open, and they got to be reeling after that.
That was just tough to watch from JB. I mean, the net was wide open there. All he had to do was get any sort of power on it, and just nothing there. He hit it with his purse, and it didn't go anywhere. So, I mean, JB, we talked about him needing to step up, and, these supporting players for Zap, they need to step up in this one, and, that was not what you'd like to see from them, as now he's trying. He's trying so hard there. He wants it to happen. Oh, no. Oh my goodness, Hunch, what a save. Wow, they just can't buy a goal right now.
Yeah, Smexy finally able to sink one away. It took JB bumping the whole team out and Zap almost putting one off the crossbar, pinching it down. And finally, Smexy able to get the power that Parallax have been needing on these shots. And Distortion, they just couldn't hold them off at that point.
Yeah, I mean, they have 6 saves already. Parallax, they have 8 shots. And it's a complete turnaround from the last couple of games that we saw from them. And they've just been putting on the offense as there's Smexy sending one home. The shot totals are back up. And we're starting to see Parallax make a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah, that was a great fake 50 underneath from Smexy. And that put Hunch again in an unfortunate spot on defense. And now Parallax, they're starting to notice when Hunch is last back, he's just putting himself in awkward spots. And a lot of that came off that great fake underneath from Smexy, but regardless, Hunch is going to have to clutch up on defense here as he's getting the clear out to the middle there. That's what we want to see. But ultimately, that was just a great play from Smexy. And we see JB, he missed that open net earlier, and he's sitting only at 68 points with just under 2 minutes left. And he hasn't been able to step up in this game 4, but still Parallax able to hold this lead. As Smexy on the ball now. Trying to follow it up. Again, Hunch in an awkward spot, but Vokes is going to bail him out as the pass pass out to Hunch now. Back to Vokes. The 1-2 play. It's going to go in the corner, though. They're not able to capitalize, and they're going to need to start hitting these shots. Now Distortion's sitting at only 3. Now they're the ones who are going to have to come back and get these shot totals back up. Vokes now off the sidewall, going to bang it onto the net. Zap, he's not able to find the touch, and that's going to sink Crossbar down. I think whoever it was for Parallax was trusting in that play from Zap way too much.
Yeah, I think JB is way off to the right side there. Not sure where he was going, and Smexy, I think he was trusting, Zap to be a little bit closer to the net, and he wasn't. Might have cheated up a little bit too far there for Smexy, and Vokes gets an easy goal there, and Distortion, they're right back in this.
Yeah, I think if you're Smexy, you got to play a little bit more conservative there, especially only up 2 goals. I mean, I don't care if you're a Titan player. I'm not trusting anybody pre-flipping off the top of the corner right there. Unless maybe you're like a pro player or something. That was a tough read to try and have trust in Zap right there.
Yeah, Zap has been crazy, but that one would have been absolutely insane. Not gonna work in that time.
And JB with another opportunity on the net, and he just didn't get a good hit. And again, he just hasn't been clutching up for them on offense. As now Smexy with a great 50. This is going to go off the backboard, but he's going to send it to the side. Now Hunch on the ball, but it's going to get dunked out by Zap. And now Distortion with just over 30 seconds. They're going to have to find something. JB continuing this ball into the orange half. Vokes going to send it underneath one, but Zap going to hard clear it back to the other side. Smexy on the backboard trying to get the pass down, but he doesn't get the pass, but the net's still open. But Teskimo able to get the save as Zap was just too slow on the opportunity. Hunch now. Shot on the net. Nobody makes contact. Teskimo there for the follow-up, but they're going to put it in.
Wow, what a play right there. I mean, immediate punishment for Zap. He just had to drive it in and turn it into the net, and then Smexy, he can't get down off the wall. There's Hunch. He sends Zap into a little one. He locked him down and just pinned him down, and a great play from Hunch there. He's been performing here. I know you've been getting on him a little bit, but he's done some great work back there on the offensive end. Another one there, and they might be able to force overtime.
Yeah, if they can keep Hunch on offense, that's where Distortion's going to be successful, regardless of his mistakes. 0-second opportunity coming out. Zap back to the middle, but Smexy pushed too far back up. And that's going to be overtime for Game 4. And I think this is going to be a closer series than I imagined. I thought Distortion might be able to suppress Parallax coming in from that losers, but Parallax, besides that Game 2, they've been competitive in these matchups. As now Teskimo following the ball into the corner, but Zap's going to clear it away. Hunch sending it back in, back to the middle for Vokes, but sending it off to the side. The ball just pinched out too fast for him to handle, as now he misses on this ball. JB getting it past 2. Where's the follow? Smexy there. No boost as JB, he's harassing Hunch in the net. They know Hunch is exploitable, but able to clutch up there. Zap off his own back wall now. Pass out to Smexy. Up the sidewall for Zap to follow again. Hunch last back. Getting the save, though. He's going to follow his own touch, but getting blocked out from JB. As Vokes sending it awkwardly off his own sidewall. It's going to leave Teskimo last back. An awkward touch of his own to send it back to the middle. But Smexy doesn't get a good hit. And again, they're just pounding it off their own sidewall. And we got to think something's coming out for Parallax here as a whiff comes out. And Rockerman, now Distortion, after that counterattack goal, they're looking a little bit exploitable as hold on off the crossbar. No follow-up there, but Distortion, they're kind of looking a little at bay here.
Their Parallax had a bunch of great shots here, but I've been surprised with how well the Distortion defense has held up. 5 saves from Hunch, 4 from Vokes, 3 from Teskimo. I mean, they've been locked in on the defense here, holding Parallax off. And, I think one of these is going to turn into offense here if they keep that up.
As Teskimo with a great shot top left, and that's going to be the counterattack opportunity they were looking for, and that's going to put them on series point.
Yeah, great 50 out there. And Smexy, just nothing he could do from that absolute banger from Teskimo. Top left, there's no saving that one there. And Distortion, great performance from them. They hold on the defense there, despite Parallax looking really solid at the beginning of that game. The Parallax, I mean, we talked about it. We talked about getting their shots up, and they did exactly as we said, 15 shots. But on the other end of things, you end up with, I believe that's 12 saves from Distortion. So only one of those shots wasn't either a save or a goal. So what do you have to do if you're Parallax here in this one? I mean, it's looking tough here. I mean, I think we got confirmation in the chat from Quackbot, the GM, that JB's hand is actually broken. So maybe we gotta lay off JB a little bit. But I mean, still, you gotta step up here. You gotta find some way to pull this off.
Yeah, and we mentioned all those saves coming up from Distortion. I actually lost my words at the final moments of that match because I just expected Parallax to put one in, but save after save coming out for Distortion, and eventually Parallax, they just ended up overcommitting too much, which led to that absolute banger coming out from Teskimo on that counterattack. And Hunch, he was that player that Parallax was looking to exploit on defense, and he actually ended up coming up with the most saves in those last few minutes. He made a lot of clutch saves as last man, and finally stepping up for his team on defense, and that's what allowed them to get that counterattack out and bring them to series point for this Game 5 now.
Yeah, and I think a couple of those ones earlier from Hunch, there were a couple of missed touches, but we talked about the double commits from his team earlier, and I think now that their defense has now settled in a little bit more, it's been more of Hunch able to get in the right position and make a couple of better touches here, and he's looked a lot better than from the beginning of the game. And I think Distortion, after that Game 1 loss, they've really found themselves 3 in a row here, and Parallax, I mean, they have to find an answer or their season is over.
Yeah, and and a lot of times in my tournament matches, there's always one throw game, and there was the blowout game for Distortion in that Game 1, but like you mentioned, able to come back and get 3 in a row as a pass at the Hunch. He just double jumps over the ball. I think his finger slipped or something. And that might let Parallax back into the door here.
Wow, that was a perfect passing play too. We saw that from Distortion earlier, but yeah, Hunch, I mean, finger might have slipped off the keyboard there. I'm not really sure. Is a banger from Tesco. I mean, this man, the Dorm Wi-Fi, coming in at the last second. He's just hitting absolute bangers all over the map. I mean, a biz touch from JB. Vokes with a great bump there to set things up, and Zap, you just can't touch it. I mean, Tesco, he's just the Batmobile bangers out here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a fan of the Batmobile, especially for aerials. I think it feels really awkward, but you get a half volley attempt or a ground power shot, you best believe that thing's going 70 plus, and there's not going to be an easy chance to block that. As JB, he finally steps up, sending it past the last defender. That's what we need to see from him.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need to see from JB. He's playing with that broken hand, but he's able to flick that one just over the last defender there. A tough spot for the defender, but a great shot from JB. And Parallax, they've got to find a way to continue that momentum if they're going to want to save their season.
Yeah, and for Parallax, now that we have confirmation about the broken hand, they're going to have to try and carry JB here, and if JB can just make solid touches and safe touches, Zap and Smexy should be able to continue this offense and this pressure coming out for them. As now, Distortion on the ball here, sending it back over to Zap on the air dribble now. I think Zap has actually changed cars from Dominus to Octane. I'm not sure when he did that, if that was in between matches. Maybe trying to change something up here, as Smexy's going to send another one top shelf, as nobody on Distortion could find the touch.
Yeah, I believe Zap switched his car going into this game, needing a spark here as Smexy just sends someone towards the net. Vokes runs out of boost midway through his aerial. A tough miss from him, and that one's just going to drop right in for Parallax. But finally Parallax, they're able to get a little bit of a lead here. They need to hold on. They need to keep up the pressure and see if they can put a little bit of panic in Distortion.
Yeah, and Distortion, they were panicking. They kept trying to get these small ball passing plays to each other, and eventually one of them ended up spilling out to the middle, which led to that power shot coming in from Smexy to secure that second goal. And sometimes you just need to clear it to the corner and trust yourself rather than going for these risky small ball passing plays. As Smexy on this one again, a double commit coming out for Distortion, but luckily it gets sent away onto the blue half. Vokes on it, sending it on net. But Zap's going to send it away. Teskimo back to the middle, trying to follow his own touch. But Zap again, following this ball, doubling it off the sidewall. And Smexy sending it back over to Vokes, but Demo coming out to relieve the pressure. Hunch now, Zap coming off the demo, but getting a great clear. It's just doing all the work to send it back off into the Distortion half following that demo. Teskimo to the middle now off the 50. Hunch missing. It's going to leave Vokes last back. JB almost able to slip it past him. As Smexy trying to find a bump in the net. JB with the shot, getting some good power. Zap there for the follow-up, getting sent out to the side. And now, this is what we asked from Parallax, Rocker, man. They've been looking hot.
Yeah, they've been looking good. Smexy, he's still hunting for those demos, trying to disrupt Distortion. That's what they need to do. They need to find a disruption. And they almost found one there, as now they're back on defense, trying to avoid the counter.
And the shot disparity in this matchup a little bit more equal. Parallax sitting, just getting another one there, but sitting at 8 to Distortion's 4. I think one team in every single matchup in this series has at least gotten double-digit shot totals, almost normally at 15 plus. But this one a little bit more of a equal matchup. JB looking for the bump on the Teskimo, actually bumping him into the save. Almost a good play coming out from him there. Hunch on this one, sending it back onto the Parallax half. JB awkward in the corner, trying to get the boost and the ball. Smexy's going to bail him out, spilling it out to the middle. Another good 50 coming out from Smexy. Hunch challenging Zap, beating him out. Teskimo up, trying to find the redirect. Hunch with the follow-up, though. Net somewhat open. Teskimo there for the shot. And the over-rotation from Parallax is going to be punished.
Yeah, Parallax, they were trying to get that ball out there. JB, he finds a nice touch into the corner, but Hunch is just right there. Smexy and Zap, they're nowhere to be found on defense, leaving him all alone on the defense. And Teskimo, he's coming in and clutch there, able to put that one in and tie this one up. So Distortion, they're still potentially one goal away from advancing on to a matchup with the Knights.
Yeah, and you have to feel for JB right there. There was nothing he could do. That was as good of a hit as you could get to the corner. But unfortunately for him, Hunch was just going for a risky boost steal, and it happened to work out. And because he thought Teskimo was going to get that dunk, and unfortunately for them, that over-rotation just got punished, and that lucky positioning from Hunch is hold on. A shot getting saved away from JB, though. Teskimo sending it back into the middle. Vokes is going to send it away, but kind of passing it over to Zap, who's going to follow this into the corner. Hunch with a big whiff in the final seconds. Vokes going to almost bail him out, but sending it over to Smexy. Zap trying to send it back to the middle. JB there, but getting dunked out by the Distortion player, following his own touch, and that kind of balled out Smexy. I'm not sure if the shot was going to come in, but he just needed to back off a little bit right there.
That was almost a huge misplay from Hunch, and then Vokes almost just set up the pass right to the defender, or to the offender there, trying to get that shot. But almost huge mistakes from Distortion. They're lucky to have their lives here in this game and have a chance to still win the series.
Yeah, and they're panicking again here off the kickoff. As Zap trying to follow his own touch, but going to miss it out in the corner. That's going to allow Distortion to get back onto the Parallax half. Good hit from Teskimo, trying to follow it again. Getting saved out from Zap, though, as he tries to follow it again. An insane double. It's going to put Distortion in an unfortunate spot. But two players from Parallax rush into the corner, and nobody makes contact or gets a boost steal. As now JB 50 back out to the middle. Smexy going to try and find something off the sidewall here, sending it on. Vokes going to put it away to the side, though. Zap going to try and pass up to Smexy, but it's going to get dunked out from Teskimo. And a great 50 coming out from him there, now into the corner. Zap going to bail out his team again. Between these doubles and pinch plays coming off the corner, Zap's been the man. Gets one demo, tries to find another. Smexy getting blocked out from the double attempt, though. And Teskimo sending it back to the middle. Folks trying to get the follow-up, but getting beat out from Zap again as he's passing it out to the middle. But JB, he can't find the touch, and Smexy, the last man, got demoed. Folks trying to pass it out to the middle for a quick counterattack. Hunch there, but getting saved away, but the double commit's going to be punished as Teskimo seals the series.
Teskimo, the man, we talked about him coming in clutch, the sub for Sicky. Just an unfortunate mistake there, a little bit of panic on Parallax's end with that touch there. And Distortion, I mean, they've been looking good. I mean, despite pulling Teskimo up, despite that first game you talked about, potentially a throwaway game, but I mean, they looked really good in that first series versus Kings. They gave Kings a couple of games in that one, and after that first game, I mean, Distortion, they looked really good. Despite having to pull Teskimo up, and a great performance from them. And I mean, what a win!
Yeah, and ultimately it came down to that over rotation coming out from Parallax again. I think that's how they got scored on all 3 times in this game. They just tried to stay on offense for too
Yeah,
long.
delivers some.
And then JB with a risky challenge in the middle, and unfortunately for them, Smexy got demoed in the backfield, and that's what set up that whole play as a great 50 came out right above the backboard to give Teskimo another power shot opportunity, and he's been hitting these power shots right into the net, top left, top shelf, anywhere you name it where the defender isn't, and he kind of showed up big for them in the shooting department.
Yeah, he definitely did, and we're actually going to bring in the man right now, Teskimo, coming in here. Thomas, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello, Austin.
Hello, Thomas. I mean, what a series from you. I first want to talk about you coming in the match in the first place. I mean, obviously, your team was unaware about you can only use players on your roster there, so I know you were somewhere else and you had to rush back. Tell us what that was like, knowing that you had to rush back to get to this match.
Bro, okay, so I'm like chilling. I'm about to go practice like drums or whatever. Okay, I'm in like a different building. I call them and I'm like, hey, what's up? Just tell me if you need anything. You guys are chilling though. You're gonna kill it. And they're like, okay, whatever. I'm practicing, bro. And Hunter/Hunt, he FaceTimes me. And I'm like, what's going on, dude? And he's like, dude, you gotta come. So I gotta pack everything back up. And I came back and he was like, dude, we're literally gonna get disqualified. And I was like, oh no. So I started up my like laptop, but like Steam just wasn't opening up. And I was like, what the heck, dude? But it finally did. Thank you guys for being lenient as well, bro. But yeah, I literally just showed up and we just started vibing. We just started playing, dude.
Wow, that's crazy there.
Yeah, and you said you were vibing, but that game one, it was you guys ended up scoring the first goal in that game one, and it just ended up being a throwaway game. The Brazil coming out, but man, you guys stepped up to the plate the following games, putting in shot after shot, and you especially, anytime you were on the power shot, you were putting it top left, top right from a great 50 or pass coming out from your teammates. And I mean, Parallax, they were able to keep you guys at bay for most of the time, but I mean, you just weren't missing your shots in particular.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I see what you were saying. Honestly, I'm surprised of like how well I played. I feel like it's that kind of thing though. Like, and I feel like it's kind of universal, but it's like whenever you get back from like not playing a lot, or you haven't played in a while, you just like play like insane. Maybe it's like a headspace thing or something. But like I'm playing on like a laptop that I haven't played on, like for a while in a whole new play. Like I just moved into like college or whatever. So it was like super. I think it was just one of those things where it's like I haven't played in a while, but I just ended up just like playing super well, I guess. Because I don't know, I was actually playing a lot better than I expected. Hunter and Vokes are also popping off as well. Yeah, game one was a little iffy, but
and specifically in that last game, I want to talk about the second goal that happened and what was going through Hunch's head as you went up for the dunk on the ball, trying to get on the backboard, and JB ended up getting the clear, but Hunch was just camping on the boost pad for some reason, and he was able to send it back to the middle for you. I mean, what were the comms like at that point? Why was Hunch right there?
Okay, wait, are you... Oh, dude, was that... Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I don't exactly... Was that the one where, like, he was, like, blocking someone out in net or something?
No, that was a different shot. It was in, like, this last game. You tried to dunk somebody out, and Hunch was just sitting on the boost pad, and he sent it back to the middle for you to score the second goal to tie it up.
Oh, yeah, okay, that one. I think... Dude, it was so weird because, okay, first of all, he jokes about it as well. He's always like, yeah, dude, literally, like, I will just be on their side of the field taking boost because I just do that for no reason. It's a terrible habit, but I just do it anyway, So he just, like, does that in the first place. And I remember, dude, he was, like, I don't know, he was just, like, chilling, and he hit the ball up, and it sounded like Vokes was gonna go for it, kind of. So he was like, oh, yeah, like, I got it. And so I was kind of, like, waiting, and then, like, nothing was happening. And I was just, dude, I'm just, like, trying to turn and flip into it. And then, like, it just went in. And then we just all started going crazy, dude, because we were like, oh, my goodness, that, like, just happened. But, yeah, Hutch just seems to, like, go to the other side of the field to get boost randomly. It's like his thing almost. It's super weird.
It worked out.
It did work out, yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty much it. But congratulations, you guys are going to be going on to play the Knights. Well, I'll ask you one more question. And kind of looking forward, you guys have to play the Knights now, who they've only dropped 2 games all series. What do you guys think? What do you guys think you got in the tank for them? After back-to-back wins in the playoffs, you guys have a lot of momentum. Do you think you guys can take it to them and pull off the upset?
Dude, I mean, okay, obviously Knights are a super good team, and like they're definitely not someone to be like played around with, obviously. And I think at the same time though, obviously I think we did pretty well against Kings, right? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I've really been out of it, but yeah, we played well against Kings. Okay, even though I had to come in and play last second, we have some momentum right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we got some hype behind us. Knights are just kind of coming in, being sitting, and of course like they're good, but it's like we got some momentum. Like we got some like emotional momentum going for us. I think we can do pretty well against them, even though Sticky will be playing for them, or for our team. Sticky will be playing instead of me, unless he can't make it again, obviously. But I think we can do pretty good. Obviously, it's gonna be tough, but I think we can take it, bro.
All right.
You know what? I think you could. The way
Yeah,
you guys
dude.
are playing today.
I definitely agree. Well, congratulations on the win, and we'll see your boys on Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you, man. Good games to Parallax as well.
All right, that was Thomas. Always a great guy. Gotta love Thomas. Our power rankings lead with that victory, and yeah, they're gonna take the victory. But we're gonna be heading to our final match of the night in just a little bit. We're gonna be taking Nebula versus Pinnacle, and Bagels, you're playing in this one. Maybe you can hype it up a little bit for us.
I don't know if anybody here caught, or anybody that didn't catch the Nebula Venganza series, but Nebula was popping off, bringing it all the way to Game 7, pulling out highlight reel play after highlight reel play. So, and Pinnacle did not go to Game 7. They lost out in Game 5. So I'm a little scared, but hey, you know what? We're going to be putting in Edwin. I know the casters and some of the viewers in chat were calling for it, so we're putting in Edwin. I think it'll be just as close of a series. I think Pinnacle's going to play a little bit better, and if you guys want to see good Rocket League, we'll be here.
All right, well, we'll definitely have to stick around. It should be good. We're actually the game that Bengals was talking about. We're actually going to be playing that for you guys. We have a little bit of a break. We have about 40 minutes until the next matchup, so you guys actually get a replay of what might have been one of the best series we've had in Nemesis this season. Nebula versus Venganza. We're going to be replaying that one for you guys for now, and we'll be back in a little bit for our final match of the night, Nebula versus Pinnacle. Should be a good one, so stick around. You don't want to miss it. Enjoy the replay, and we'll be back